Hello, hello. Just a second. All right, let's do this. So, we're gonna be doing a little bit of game jam development. So, see here, we can move the intro camera. Seems like it's following something, I guess. Oh, probably the player 1 point. Or 1. Hey, Kalia, what's up? Yep, it's following a P1 point. Let's see, spawn position. Is that not the spawn then? Intro camera. Hi, it's my birthday today. Say happy birthday. I'm not gonna say that actually, cause I think you're lying. I don't think it's your birthday. Hey, hello, Mole C4. What's up? Old memories? Old memories of what? Okay, I will unsub. Bye, bro. Bye, bro. Bye, bro. Working with Unity. We love working with Unity. Now I just do C++. Yeah, I only did C++ in uni. I do nothing but Unity. I think I need to do on before... Wait, what? Oh, okay, yeah, because I assigned the controller. Bro, look what you're wearing, then talk. Bye, little Timmy. Bro, look yourself in the mirror, then talk. Am I right? Wait, does it not? Oh, right, because the conditional... So what do you do in C++? Are you doing game development as well? There no on before spawn? Pretty sure. Embedded systems. All right. Sweet. Oh, yeah, I assume it's not connecting the... I'll have to start up the language server again. I'm trying to use NeoVim. But it is so obviously not made for Unity development. Or, like, apparently .NET development in general, like, sucks ass in this, so... But I'm trying to make do. People hype it to the skies, and I'm just trying to see what the fuss is about. I'm not. Yeah. You use Vim? Yeah, I imagine it's probably nicer for C++, but it sucks absolute ass for Unity so far. So I'm like a hair thread away from. You still haven't customized it? Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. I had to customize it to the ends of the earth to get it like. Because the thing is, I have Vim, right? NeoVim, and then I have Rider, JetBrains Rider. Now, Rider is insanely integrated with Unity. It can count like references to assets, so like where scripts are used on assets. It can see where fields are changed in what assets. It has like Unity aware optimization hints. So like, for example, if it sees you're calling a method every frame, then that's like a performance aware context. It does so many things. And I'm like, okay, I can live without that stuff. I can live without it. I don't use Linux, but I'm probably going to switch to Linux at some point. I'm getting tired of friggin' Windows shit. Same with macOS. I used macOS a lot, but I mean, it's getting worse and worse every day. So, you know, there's only so much a man can take. Let's see. I want to see. Does it show up now? No, it doesn't. I think I might have to. NVIDIA drivers are a pain. Yeah, I just don't know what like the feature parity is with Unity and Linux, because I know the only visual graphics bugs I've ever had have been from Linux users. Like decals won't work, and then there's like some specific lighting issues and whatever. And then I'm like, you know. If I'm making a game for a Windows majority audience, right? Because the thing is, you have to be realistic, right? You're developing not for Linux users, you're developing for Windows users. And if you're not a AAA company, well, you don't really have the time to test on all sorts of hardware. So what do? Well, you try to work on a machine that is as close to your average end user as possible. And that ends up being a Windows machine, right? Running an NVIDIA graphics card. And Intel CPU. You're subscribed? Nice, Amjad. And so, you know, for me to move over to Linux, I don't know how much of a setback that is for me from a business perspective. So that's why I've been hesitant. But the more shit that's happening here in Windows and Mac land, the more I just, you know, I'm just gonna set this stuff up here. 1 second. There we go. Okay, let's see. Does it spin up the freaking language server this time? See, because I don't know if I set it up some specific way or something. Where it has like some specific data. Like, because I don't have the .NET, but I do have, that would be Mason, right? I mean, I have Roslyn installed, so... Okay, so you're making your own map? Roslyn failed to install. Okay, well, maybe it's because it's trying to run or something? Should I learn OpenGL? I mean, if you want to make your own game engine. Or maybe if you want to do like shader work. But I mean, if you're working in an engine, then there's absolutely no point to it. All right, I have to, Come on, go, go, go. LSP, LSP. I don't think it's spinning up the LSP, dude. Hey, what's up, Gung Sun? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's supposed to be running, so... Active client. Well, it says Roslyn is active. But root directory is nil. Did you name your map something? Yeah, it's named, shit. Shit poop. Poop fart. That's what I named it. Okay, I don't know. Do I have to have the Roslyn config in the... Could that be it? I'm pretty sure I have a Roslyn config here or something. OmniSharp. Okay, no, that's not. Oh, wait. I think... Edit. Project settings. Do I have to like regenerate the project files? I like and subscribe. I'm a fan. So a lot of people who are fans these days, it seems. A lot of people liking and subscribing. Initializing Roslyn. Okay, yeah, I just didn't have the project files generated. That was the issue. Okay, we're in it. What kind of embedded systems are you working on, dude? No, the one who was actually working on the embedded systems. Is it runner object? I think it's... Why are you wearing a penguin corn suit? Because I knew you'd be here to ask that question. I'm engagement baiting. I like your costume. Thank you. That means a lot to me. You know, most people come in here and they say, your costume looks like ass. I want to beat you up. If I see you on the street wearing that thing, I'll stab you. That's what most people would say. So I really appreciate the fact that you come in here and, you know, say those nice words. Bullshit. I'm supposed to spawn up there, not here. Oh, maybe I have to set the position of the... Okay, so far so good. There is no rigid body. Oh wait, so how is the player moving then? Player. Do I have like a character controller on it? Is that it? No, there is a rigid body. What are you talking about? Wait, there's the player. Bro, I'm only one watching your video. No, you're not. You're literally not. There's 100 people watching right now. I think it might be that it's flipped around. By the way, guys, if you like chicken, send a chicken emoji in chat. Very important. I'm back again. Finally, Rarth. Hello, Cashy Rants. Welcome, finally. Yeah, you shouldn't fly. Okay. I think I have like tents or something. I don't know. No, I don't. I have a tent model in some other game though. Busy with school. Sorry for not being lives. You're on thin ice, buddy. I like chicken. I like chicken. You're obsessed, dude. That's too far. So what we're gonna have to do quite early is build this for WebGL and just see that it actually is playable. I think I have a pine tree or something. Or fir, I guess it would be called. Douglas fir dead. Douglas fir dead. Do I not have, like, pine? Pine? Stone pine, I think, is the only one. Open file location. Let's see. Spruce. We can take this one. And we'll simplify it quite a bit. So I wonder where Miles went. Do you guys know where Miles is? Can we get Miles up in chat? There we go. That's a nicer spruce tree, and then we can save that in... The heck? Like they say, one chicken a day keeps a chicken away. It's too many damn sounds. Okay, so now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I like that joke, man, bro. Why there's another penguin? What do you mean? Okay, so... I don't know if I have it enabled. Yeah, draw. Because then we can paint trees and less brush size. We need to add a tree, edit tree, add tree, which is going to be the asset Prefabs. Spruce tree. Models. I'm in France? That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, we need to rotate this shit. And then not medium point, but the 3D cursor. See if that is the right. 8 bottom, bro. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, it only renders the 1, doesn't it? I mean, I guess that's fine. I don't know, the problem is that how do you define the freaking collider for a tree? Unity3D define collider. When trees are placed on terrain. Oh, right. Yeah, because... Okay, cool. So we can unify these. Yeah, go do your homework, little bro. Wood or bark. They like bark texture. Seamless. That looks like a... Oh, that's watermarked. Bruce. I don't know, like, how does the birch bark texture look, for example? Only 128. Colors, and we can change to be less saturated, and then color. Spruce it up. All right, the spruce needles, pine needles. I don't know what it's called. We'll search needle. Could you maybe try to speak English in chat, E-roll? Could someone time out E-roll? I might have to do it myself. There's no... If all you're gonna do is just spam English, it's just no... Or another language than English, it's just no point. There we go. Put user in timeout. It's always, I don't know what language they're speaking. I think it's like Filipino or something. But I'm not 100% sure. But like that, the letter combination, I've seen that so many times. And it's usually around this time of day. So I think, you know, if the... My assumptions are correct, it's probably Hindi. Yeah, could be Hindi. It's very common with... I think I would prefer for these to not be... I'll just do that. I mean, that doesn't look half bad. But then we can just taper it off at the end. Penguin Ice? No, this is actually a game jam game I'm working on right now because I found that I have the time and I just wanted to do it. I don't know what modifier he's applied here. Or if it even is a modifier, because... I think it is. Yeah, it's a game jam game based on folklore. So I'm actually repurposing some stuff I made earlier, which, you know, argue the ethics of that. But it's from the Puffin game. And we're gonna see. Yeah, theme is folklore. That looks a bit better. But yeah, so basically the idea for the game I have... Oh, looks like player 1 point is... It's basically like this persistent multiplayer game. So similarly to, what's it called? Shell Riders. Except you're like walking around in a dark forest. And you're like, so you start off at a campsite, right? So this is the campsite that I'm working on right now. And at the campsite, you get told that there are bonfires. The game servers? No. That entire game is so absolutely screwed up. Because I was using Unity networking, networking for game objects, which is fine, you know, sort of. But I guess for whatever I was doing, in the netcode was not playing nicely with the netcode. So essentially, the server would just crash in on itself, and there was nothing uniquely weird I was doing. And the same happened to Penguin World. It was also crashed, but then I converted that code over to Fusion, and it never crashes. So I'm using Fusion here for this game. But basically what I've done here, so the key parts that I'm using is this custom terrain shader I have that uses these averaging algorithm essentially. Oh, it's ads? I don't know. I'll wait for you to come back. Ads Jover? Okay. So. I mean, if you want ad blockers, there are GitHub plugins for blocking Twitch ads, so. Anyway, so what I was saying is the key parts that I wanted from my past project is the character controller. So that one's really nice. It's kind of like this basic character control I have, but it has like it can climb, so it can do like Legend of Zelda style climbing. It's got like nice jumping and walking particles and stuff. It's all networked already. So that's like, you know, okay, thank God, because if I'm gonna finish this on time, I need that stuff. It has this custom terrain shader I wrote that does like these harsh edges. But what about your 5 cents? My 5 cents. Yeah, it's physical location. Yeah, so this is a sharp edge. So it basically takes like, it does like a winner takes all approach. An average out the slat map and gives these super crisp edges. Even like no matter how far in you zoom, it's always crisp. You see, it's only here it starts getting not crisp, but it's like the player doesn't look that close. So it's super crisp edges. It also has some built-in like toon shading for the lighting. And then the shadows do the same thing. The shadows are doing the same exact crisp technology. So no matter how far I zoom in, it's super crisp. But of course, that comes at a loss of fidelity, right? So the quality of the shadows are not as good. But they look super crisp. And I also have built into the actual shader for the shadows. So if we go in here, I have shadow strength as a parameter, which I can modify to get like these super exaggerated shadows. So like Unity has a hard cap of shadow intensity 1, but I'll show you what I can do. Or shadow strength. There, so I have plus 0.5, but I can add this to like 2, and then we write, and then you'll see what happens now as the strength goes haywire, and it's going to be super dark shadows. But you can use this for like really intensifying the visual style far beyond what Unity would let you do. So we'll see here. Like, look at those darkness, the darkness of those shadows. It's far, far darker than it was before. And I can just keep going up with that. So, me likey. Hello, I'm asking foreigners about Saudi Arabia. Will you allow me to ask? Depends on what the question is. The concept is that you start at this base campfire, right? And the main idea, kindle, right, is you're kindling these bonfires around the world. I didn't have to write the shadow pass. You can embed any of the packages that Unity comes with, specifically the universal render pipeline. That's why they did it, because it's actually like opened up. So you can access and modify literally the entire pipeline. So I didn't even have to make like a custom shadow pass. I just had to go into where they're doing the shadows, apply the same logic to that I did to the terrain of this averaging. What do you think about Saudi Arabia? I think it's a very backwards country. As far as human rights, it's even further back than the Middle Ages, you know? Let's put it that way. What I mean backwards? Yeah, well, that's... I just explained it, I think. Congrats on getting banned from Saudi. Yeah. I'm not going to do any comedy shows in Saudi Arabia anytime soon. Grandma got to read about this game. But yeah, so basically, you start off at this base camp, and then this guy, I'm gonna give him like a cloak or something. I want this to be like kind of dark, mysterious. Wait, what the fuck is that blue shit? Is that like some shading artifact? Is that in game too? Women here can go to concerts and sing and even drink. Wow. Saudi Arabia lets women sing and drink. Let's look this up. Saudi Arabia women rights 2025. The laws on what women can and cannot do. Let's see. In 2018, they were allowed to drive. Wow. And since 2021, women have been permitted to go to Mecca without a male relative, as long as they are traveling with other women. They're giving the women so many rights over there in Saudi Arabia. They can travel as long as they're traveling with other women. That is so nice. Wow. Let's see. The law also set the minimum age at which women can marry at 18, although courts can authorize the marriage of a younger woman if she is deemed mature enough to give consent. And judges can allow a woman to marry a man of their own choice if their guardian's objection is unreasonable. They can allow a woman to marry a person of their own choice through court. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's women rights. The courts can grant you the right to marry who you wish to marry. Neither husband nor wife can abstain from sex without their spouse's consent. Hell yeah. You're not allowed to abstain. We're married. Yeah, here. Husbands are no longer allowed to verbally divorce their wives, but they can still unilaterally divorce their wives, while a wife who wants to end a marriage must petition a court on limited grounds. Saudi Arabia is really forward thinking, I think, when it comes to women rights. This just, to me, all of this reads like plausible deniability, essentially. They're like, well, I mean, they used to be they couldn't divorce at all, but now they can. I mean, they just have to go to the court and, you know, on limited grounds, of course. Right. Historically, the Saudi approach to child custody after divorce has been inconsistent. Under Islamic rules, the father remains the legal guardian, but the mother remains custody until a boy is 7 or a girl reaches puberty. Right. Okay. Interesting rules there. But that's apparently according to Islamic rule. As recently as 2018, women and girls were barred from taking part in sports for schools or even watching sports in stadiums. But since then, the change in women's sports has been profound, said Fortune. Take football, more than 70,000 girls. But that was 2018. It's not been that long since. This year's season will be broadcast domestically and worldwide for the first time. But the thing is, it's, to me, it just feels like a projection from the state. Like they're going the Dubai route of like tourism washing their own country, being like, look how glamorous and rich we are, and look at how well our people are doing. But in reality, like, you lift the veil and you see like this darkness underneath it all. Footwear choices are generally unrestricted, and makeup is widely accepted with an emphasis on subtle, sophisticated looks. Right. So basically, like, but that's the thing. It's like a social contract. They allow all the shit, but then like socially and culturally they don't. That perspective is wait. The black abaya, full-length, loose-fitting robe, and niqab were once emblematic of the restrictions placed on Saudi Arabian women, and those who strayed from this dress code were subject to harassment from religious police. However, Crown Prince bin Salman has repeatedly emphasized the abaya and head coverings are not mandatory. In 2018 review with U.S. news program 60 Minutes, he said that Saudi men and women should wear decent, respectful clothing in accordance with cultural and religious norms, but that beyond that, clothing choice was entirely left for women. That perspective is reflected in public decency law introduced in 2019, which requires modest dress for both sexes, but only specifies loose clothing that covers both elbows and ankles. I mean, if you can, there was a recent video of a guy going to Dubai, and Dubai is also famously known for insanely low crime rates. But you know why? Because they freaking chop people's hands off if they steal. They have like such insanely high punishments that no one dares do crime. And what happens instead is you get this freaking underclass of super poor people that they're just completely neglecting, and all these indentured slaves essentially working. I mean, it's modern day slavery. There's no other way to put it. Like, they arrive in the country, they take their passports, and you see these videos of like these buses full of workers driving around in Dubai, and they're all going to the same place, which is essentially like work camps, which is where they sleep. Like, they don't spend their time in the nice Dubai, in the malls, in the freaking World Islands or whatever they're called. That's not where those workers spend their time. They're service workers, they're builders, they're whatever. And then they get shipped off to work camps where they're hidden away, kept away from the public's eye, to make the glamorous. In Saudi Arabia, they're allowed to quit. Okay, yeah, sure, buddy. Sure. Freedom Index Saudi Arabia. Ay, 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 ay. So it's like the global freedom index is like it's in 9th place out of 100. It's very low. Civil liberties 8 out of 60, political rights 1 out of 40. They have no sewers, so trucks pick up poop from buildings. Yep. Saudi Arabia's absolute monarchy restricts almost all political rights and civil liberties. No officials at the national level are elected. Okay, awesome. The regime relies on pervasive surveillance, right? The criminalization of dissent. Awesome. Appeals to sectarianism and ethnicity, and public spending supported by oil revenues to maintain power. Women and members of religious minority groups face extensive discrimination in law and in practice. Working conditions for the large expatriate labor force are often exploitative. Right, but they can quit. They're allowed to quit though, is apparently what Saudi Arabia man is saying. Working conditions for the large expatriate labor force are often exploitative, but they are allowed to quit. But somehow they're also being exploited, so I think there's no use whitewashing your country's Yeah, there's some weird shading going on with the trees. I think it's the... I might have to... What the frick is up? Oh, right, it's the occlusion culling. I don't know what's up with the trees. I think it's the detail renderer is kind of ass. So let's just not do terrain detail rendering. We'll just do it hand placed. Oh. And welcome back, Amjad. The average construction workers in Dubai work 10 hours for 6 days a week and get 1,000 Arab Emirate dollars a month, I guess. I don't know. Less than $300. Okay, awesome. Yeah. And not only that, but their bosses own their passports, so it's like, good luck leaving. No, but I mean, it's such like for me, it's such a trope for like these super authoritative countries and their citizens showing up in chat often here and just trying to like whitewash their country. They're like, it's actually not as bad as you think. We just recently let women drive 1 year ago. We're just the same as you guys. Just 1 year ago, we let women drive. Basically, women have just as much right in our country as in yours. And it's like, no. It's not the same. Like, if you don't think that there's still like a lasting cultural impact from that, you're sorely mistaken. Okay, let's obviously I won't be speaking what I think about Uzbekistan, but it's good because of people plus cheap. I have to do so much hacky shit to get my VPN working. I fucking can't be asked. It's some Stockholm syndrome a lot of people got. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It is Stockholm Syndrome. Unity and C#, yep. What version of Unity are you using? 6.2. No, I think that's what it is. And it's, I mean, it's console wars, you know? It's sunk cost. You're like, you're still living in that country. So of course you're going to be like trying to justify why you're still there. And that ends up with you just justifying a bunch of random, like, super weird stuff, like that women's rights are supposedly okay, like, and I get it, like, from a psychological standpoint, I get it, but it's also freaking weird, you know? It's like, you don't have to do that. You're just playing into the hands of your freaking supreme leader, who's not even letting you hold proper elections. So, you know, great for you. You like pancake? Yeah, I like pancakes. I think, even though as a Nordic I should prefer the Swedish pancake or the crepe or whatever, I probably, you know... you can't use voice over IP services that encrypt data. Yeah. And now the EU is going, you know, the same route with the freaking chat controls stuff. Completely absurd. So this is a game jam game. It's about basically lighting bonfires. I don't know exactly how I want it to be though. Hey, I'm good. We just had the Saudi Arabia propaganda tour. Are you doing live coding here? Yeah. There's live coding. Right now I'm just trying to build this world a little bit. EU is also effed. The EU and NSA have been up to some shit the Soviets could only dream about. Yeah, I mean, but I think it's like, I think it's partially incompetence. Like, they don't know what they're actually voting for. Some small group of people, you know, wanting to pull the strings and knowing they can manipulate the stupid... Like, it's always, you know, it's for your own safety, you know? And I think a lot of those people actually buy that. Because you look at the average politician, and they're not that smart. They don't know that much what they're talking about. Add bandits and guns. This is not a bandits and guns type game, but thanks for the suggestion. I don't think I want to do all these stamps. I would prefer to do more set height. I think... Okay, let's look. So I was thinking, because I drew this up in Paint. I had this little map idea. So you'd have the central bonfire. Hey, that's all right. Can't judge you for net issues. So like a little central bonfire, and then some sort of mountainous range. So if this is the mountainous range, or we could have the mountainous range over there. I disagree, at least in Sweden's case. The three parties. I mean, the thing is, you have to think about what's their vested interest in it, right? And I just cannot see I cannot see the vested interest, like beyond some people lobbying for it and them getting paid. Like they have no personal vested interest in it, right? But it's not in the interest of any individual person to have their information online tracked by a global entity. It's in no private person's interest to have that happen to them. However, it is in the interest of whoever's doing the tracking, right? And whoever's doing the tracking are the big business, the corpos, whatever. So it's sort of like, well, from that perspective, I think they might just be stupid in that sense, right? They think they know what they're voting for, but they really don't know what they're voting for, but the money's good, so they're like, sure. Or they're just stupid. I see those two alternatives, because I don't see anyone there actually, like, part of the show being like, oh yeah, I stand to gain from this. I sure could use some tracking and track down, and I think this is good for society. Or like that's what I think. I think they're like, well, you know, it's good for society. We can track down the pedophiles online. So some freaky stuff can happen in Parliament, Senate, whatever you got with some blackmail. I don't know. My trust in government is just gone at this point. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, every single government is just it's garbage, right? Because it's so easily manipulated. But that's why having a government that actually has like fair elections is so important, because then at least you have a chance to shake things up every now and then. But whenever you have like a government that is not chosen and run by the people, that's when you get this absolutely deranged stuff happening, like with all certainty. Like in Saudi Arabia. I also live in Saudi Arabia. What's your opinion of Saudi Arabia? Hey, any advice for you? See, I have... for me, you see, I have many ideas for games, but currently I'm developing my game for my thesis. Is that a thesis, bachelor's thesis in computer science or game design or something? But I'm having issues with saving. Like, how do I save everything and all that? Is this in Unity? Because if it's in Unity, it's very easy. Bachelor of Computer Science. I'm not really a game dev. I just want to make games for fun and nostalgia. I made a bunch of games during my computer science degree, so it's a good idea. Basically, if you're saving and loading stuff, the best way to do it, so C# has this beautiful thing called serializable, right? So any data that's serializable can be written and stored in the computer, and then the same way deserialized and read from the computer. So you could have like public class save data, which is now a serializable class that you can put fields into. So for example, you can have like int money, float, time spent playing, or whatever, right? And then in some other class, so let's do a public class save manager, which inherits from mono behavior, right? So you have this. And then at this point, do you know that Mr. Beast built a whole park in Saudi? It's the biggest park I've ever seen. Yeah, it looks like garbage, but... and then here, you would have like some private save data save. And then you'd have a public void save game. Ratioed. And then you do like some write to file method save. And then same with public void load game. Some load or save equals some load to file method load from file method. And that's essentially the structure you want to have, right? This is all you need. So some class that holds the data in a serialized manner, then some kind of save manager, hopefully, or save database, whatever you call it, doesn't matter. And this, you know, would maybe implement from mono behavior, maybe doesn't. I like having just a save manager in the scene somewhere. And then some method that saves, and then some method that loads. And you can have like, because this is a private save data, right? So you could do like public void add money, right? And then you can do this, and you can do save dot money plus equals 1. And I mean, technically you could do all the like access. You could treat the save data as a database that you read and write from, right? You could do that. Or you could have it be more abstracted. So there are many ways you can do it. This is completely up to personal taste. I'm not going to give you a sort of how to say ultimate implementation, because that's part of the thesis, I would say, if you're like implementing this stuff. But Unity C# writes serialized data. Is there any way to save everything like states of an object, etc., as well as current objectives? Do I need to just... Yeah. So you have to be smart about it. You need to be smart about it. But this seems to be like, you can just see write data to file, save game data. But like, when you're saving stuff, you have to, like, if you have, you know, what old games used to do is actually, some old games would write the entire memory to a save file. So they'd save the entire RAM. That's a bit weird to do these days. Instead, developers are a bit smarter about it. So they think about what state is necessary to be aware of to arrive back at the situation we were. So for example, maybe you don't need to save the current state of like the song that is playing exactly at the moment. Maybe you don't need to save the exact current state if the players like execute an attack. You don't need to like save which animation frame am I in, right? So like those are some unnecessary fluff pieces, and that leaves you with not so much data. And let's imagine now that you have like thousands of game objects and you want to save their position because that's like necessary in your game. Well, you could just do like this. List vector3, and maybe it shouldn't just be a list of vector3, but maybe you would have like some data point defined here, which is like private struct object position, right? And a struct is handy because it's a way to organize data in like groups. So you could have object position struct, which can define a vector3 position, as well as a, because again, when we're deserializing data, we have to know what data does this point to sometimes, because some data points are references and some are like just global stats. Like money is always just, there's always one player, so we only need to save one money, right? But like object positions, the position is not just the position, it's a position that points to some specific object in your world. So maybe then you have like a string object ID. So then when you create an object, you could just make sure that the ones you want to save the object position for also have an object ID, because then when you load the game, you could do for obj pos in save dot object positions, right? So now we're just iterating through them. We have a list of object position, and we call it object positions, right? So now when we're like saving the game here in the save game, at some point in our save file, we've like updated this object position. So maybe a save game would first do like collect all object positions, execute some method called something like that, iterate through all the objects, find out what is their object ID, what is their position, save that as object position structs, append that to the list of object positions. So now you have a list of all the object positions in the entire game. And so then when you load, well, now you have access to this previous list of saved object positions, and then you can just do find object by ID, and then you can just do object ID, and then dot position equals the object plus dot position, and object ID would be object plus dot object ID. I just do attributes plus JSON and iterate over my entities list and save everything that's savable. Attributes calling. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I'm looking at this from the perspective of someone who's never done a save system, and 99% of use cases, this is completely fine. I don't think attributes is something that anyone who's like doing a first ever game and hasn't like serialized data before can look into. I think this is a far more workable. So yeah, this is what I would suggest. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. But when you load it, will it load like the last animation played or idle? Well, it just loads into whatever state you have, right? So basically, when you have a game, right? When you load level, right? Load level loads into default state, right? So you load a level, it loads into the default state for the level, right? The same thing happens when a game is going to load a save. First, it loads the level, it loads into the default state, but then apply data from the save, right? That's the only difference. So if you don't save anything, assume it stays default state. Whatever is not saved is not saved. This is very explicit in what's being saved. Here, you're just saving the money, you're saving the time spent playing, and you're saving the object positions. Now, if you never update money in this save game file, well, obviously the money's just going to stay at 0. And since you don't, like, update the animations, well, obviously animations are just going to stay the default state. So it's all about storing data and then having a system to apply the data. The data does not describe how it should be applied. That's up to you. That's completely your own prerogative. But that's essentially the gist of it. So it's all like when you make a save file, I like grouping stuff into structs like this. I find it's better than, like, because you could do, you know, list pair or like key value pair vector3 string. You know, you could do it like that and call that object positions. Bad. This is less preferable. This will actually give you more reasonable autocompletes and stuff, because otherwise it's like key 1, key 2. I know this... people have an obsession with like one-lining everything, so some people will lean into this, but being verbose in this case is for your own benefit, so... So use structs. I like this setup at least, so find it's quite intuitive. Yeah, thank you. I wrote everything down that you just wrote. What are you going to do with it? Send it to the Saudi Arabian prince? Make a new game. Thanks for not lying. I appreciate there's so many people here who show up and all they do is lie, lie, lie. It's nice with someone who doesn't lie. Congrats? What happened? Penguin butt. Goidal penguin butt. Goidal penguin butt. You're gay? Congrats on coming out. Who? Amjad? Oh. Congratulations, Amjad. That's awesome. He means himself? I don't think so. Say, Amjad, tell me, what does Saudi Arabia think about the gays? Tell me. The other guy be like, wait until 2034, then you'll see. Don't ask that question now. Wait until 2034. I think it's good. You think it's good, but is that what people think on average? I know you think it's good. It would be weird if you didn't. I have this spring water, which we can make a swamp with over here, I guess. Yep. There was a gaming competition on Falcon. The fuck? I should go. I think I don't use Unity, I use Godot, so I don't fit in. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say there's... So I had a little conversation on the NeoVim Discord with a guy who used to be a Unity user and has now been using Godot a lot more recently. And from what he described, I mean, there is a fundamental difference, and that one being that everything's a scene in Godot and everything's a game object in Unity. But I mean, as far as like making games, there's not that much difference. I mean, you're still dealing with a render and update loop and input read. And that's sort of it, you know? I should search Falcon later. I'd rather die than search Falcon. No offense. Well, how about I can just make admin abuses? No way. I'd rather die than make you admin. Bro, they're YouTubers? I hate YouTubers. I'd rather die than watch a YouTuber. No lie, no lie. Yeah, you know it. Do you remember me? Of course I remember you, Shiloh's Bros fan, F5I. I'm not a YouTuber. I would die rather than being a YouTuber. Well, YouTubers stream and you're one too, and you're getting likes and subscribers. I'd rather die than get likes and subscribers. I'd rather die. Is this just hard set? I think it might be. How many likes do you have? 1 million likes. I have so many likes you wouldn't even believe how many likes I had. He's using a penguin body so he doesn't show his face. That's not true. I'm actually a penguin. You hate seals? Yeah, I'd rather die than make friends with a seal. You must do the face reveal again? I guess, I mean, guys, do you want a face reveal? I don't know. Does anyone even want a face reveal? I don't think anyone wants a face reveal. You guys want a face reveal? I don't think anyone cares for a face reveal. If people actually wanted a face reveal, they'd ask. They would ask if they really wanted a face reveal. I don't think anyone wants a face reveal. You guys want a face reveal? It seems like you kind of want a face reveal. Okay, guys. You convinced me. We're gonna do a face reveal. We're gonna do a face reveal. You guys ready? Okay. It's gonna happen. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys really want this. I'm not sure if you guys actually want the face reveal. You do? Okay. Okay. You guys ready? Because there's gonna be a face reveal. Is everyone ready? We're about to do the greatest face reveal of all time. This is the first ever face reveal. I hope everyone is ready. Here it is, the face reveal. The official face reveal. Yeah, that's it. That's me. That's me. You guys were here for this. You guys were here for this. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you. Switch back to game development. So yeah, that was me. You like touched the penguin. Thank you. Thank you. That's one of the greatest things anyone has ever said to me. Wait, so it's steps and lerps. Okay, it lerps from white. That's the thing. So we add another color. Color top. Which we don't want to be white. Yeah, but that, I mean, I was nervous for that face reveal, but then, I mean, when you showed up there and you just loved it, so. You guys think this is gonna win? Win the game jam? Can I get put in the basement as well? No one's in the basement, guys. No one's in the basement. This is just like Shell Riders, dude. We have a central island in the in the middle here. This is so Shell Riders coded. Those who know. Am I right? Those who know. Does anyone here know? I'm gonna take a guess and say that no one here knows about Shell Riders. YouTube chat has new people every week. Yeah, literally. But you know about Shell Riders. Aaron, you were there for the live playtest. I'm gonna need you on deck as well for this one too. So, peak what date and time? It's on the early December or something. I forget. I need to check up on that. I'm doing a talk tomorrow, so that's hype. Bit unrelated, but yeah. Let's see. I want this one, sand, to be there too. Yeah, I go to 2 schools. Can't believe that. That's crazy. Is it about the 2025 Q3 penguin economy fell? Yeah. No, it's gonna be on advertising. Viral marketing essentially for video games, because it is a bit of a blind spot, I think, for a lot of indie devs to, like, maybe it's not like just not knowing how to market, but it's also like not having the confidence in marketing. And I think once people know just how like messy and uncoordinated like viral marketing is, I think they sort of realize that, hey, maybe this is something I could do. When I get some money from my job, okay, I'm gonna make a penguin con. It's like BidCon. I'll buy the game. Awesome. Okay, starting to look kind of cozy. Starting to look kind of cozy. If it's in December, I'll most likely be free. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be around the same time as the last one, so but I don't know like what I want to have in this game. So a couple of things. I want to have harmonicas that you can play. So that's going to be an awesome like interaction. So you'll be able to play as people are playing the game. And I don't know what other interactions. I think I want to have like sticks that you can hit people with and like hit players with too. In-game concert live. That's what I'm thinking. Because I mean, before it was the you know, the turtle sounds, but this is going to be a lot more sophisticated, I think. Can we still piss though? I don't think there's going to be pissing in this game. I might add pissing though. Add you on Roblox, you can try it, but I probably won't add you back. Let's put it that way. What about guns? Well, I think it's like just camping out in the woods, and the game's called Kindle, right? Because you're walking around and you're kindling these fires. So there's gonna be like other campfires. Like there's gonna be one here, one up here in the mountains, and then maybe like one over here or something, I think. So there's gonna be like, that's the central one. One there, one there, one here. But then I don't know what the... Beyond kindling the fires, I don't know what the actual task at hand is supposed to be. So it's like fun enough to walk around, and you got like this fun movement system that I have, and then you can like pick up sticks and hit like, I don't know if there's gonna be like spiders or what in the forest. But like, I'm not sure exactly what I want out of the ooh, I could use these birch trees. Harmonica, so I'm thinking either like a circle of notes, you know, full octave circle of notes, or a real harmonica layout in like a linear fashion, so you can like slide it back and forth, click and hold to blow, and let go to stop, you know. I don't know which one I want to go for. 1 to 9 keys. Yeah, maybe. I feel like it's more, although I don't use the mouse for anything else in the game already, so. Because basically, like, I can show you, I have a bunch of, like, there's so... Because this is ripped from Puffin game essentially. I'm like downstripping a lot of stuff from that game. Like there's not gonna be any flying. I'm stripping a lot of graphics because it's gonna run in the browser. Change the player model so you're like this elf type fella. Like you look kind of cute. I like the look of the main character. But I think I might have to really... the shadows really need to come closer. I think the fog is too distant. But yeah, you're gonna get some paths as you start, and you'll see like, oh, okay, I could go this direction, and then it like branches off. You can go that direction. But then also, you see, you can't like jump up infinitely past these walls here. So I can branch off because there's like actual... You know? I think if time allows, we should have some kind of character customization so we can tell who is who. I think, yeah, I was thinking that there's going to be like some colors here, because that was an issue in Piss Turtles. But you can actually speak to NPCs as well, so I can have like... I can have some dialogue. So I can do like... Because that was an issue in... that was an issue for Piss Turtles as well. Like dialogue, but now you can actually like walk up to them. Yeah, this is the same dialogue as in Puffin game, so... it just has like this simple linear dialogue, no choices or anything. But yeah, so... You haven't played Puffin game? Well, the Puffin game is... I've just streamed it, so... It's not actually out. Oh, spooky. There's another NPC here. But yeah, I think with some stick weapons, like we can have like some enemies on the way here. Yeah, I think the graphics are gonna sell it. I feel like the graphics are gonna sell this. And the sharp shadows, I mean, you know, what more do you need? But then, I mean, it's actually just satisfying to, like, walk around here, so... I think that's the big bonus. I could probably remove parts there. Holding B should make the player dance. That, Roblox thing? His dance replacement. But I was thinking, so in Puffin game, these things here, they're, can you Google the secret code? I don't know. I don't know if it's B. I think you should Google it. But yeah, these things, they give you like, the ability to like flap your wings, but also like climb. And I was thinking in this game, it could be like, instead of that, you're collecting embers that give you like the power to climb or whatever. Google it if you care about us. Wait, okay. Wait, I'll Google it. Wait, let me just see here. One second. Hold up. I'm just trying to see how do I Google this? Okay, yeah, I think I got it here. One second. Is that... I think I just Googled it. This is what Google showed anyway when I Googled it. That was weird. Interesting. It show you that too? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Must be some glitch or something. Or maybe that's just the result you get when you Google that. Is that what XXX means? I think it is what it means, yeah. Interesting secret code. Very interesting. These codes are getting more complex by the day, I tell you. Okay, here's an idea. So the idea is you're supposed to be able to complete this within like one session, right? So what if there are 3 bonfires spread across the world? And you are tasked with collecting embers, right? And in order to collect an ember, you have to feed a bonfire. You have to light the bonfire. Alternatively, you have to contribute to a bonfire. You have to contribute to a bonfire to earn an ember. So, so you have to like walk around this world, contribute to the bonfires around the world, and then there's like spooky creatures that you have to like hit with your stick or whatever. I think that kind of makes sense. This is kind of giving me Ocarina of Time. How you knew what that code meant? Not first time, huh? Answer, boy. I'll repeat the same answer. This is how I knew. Um, what if you have to play music at a lit bonfire? If the bonfire is not lit, you have to like grab sticks to contribute to it. I want to find Xavier. Yeah, I don't... That's the thing. But how does that sound? So there are bonfires around the world. 3 bonfires. You have to play music at each of them. And on your way, there are perils. Like monsters, spiders, or whatever. And you have to defeat them. And then when you play your music, you spawn an ember. You collect the ember. You head back with all the 3 embers to the main bonfire. And so, you know, the ritual goes or whatever, you know? And there could be like a new character at every bonfire giving you some lore about like what this world is or something. Can you say, okay, Google? Wait. Can you say KS4P is an idiot? Why would I say that? Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. What if playing music near something, it triggers a thing? So that's what I was thinking, if we could integrate the music. So like at a bonfire, there might be like a music sheet for the song you're supposed to play, right? So you should just play those notes in front of the bonfire. But maybe there could be other parts in the world where you would have a reason to play music. Or like you'd play music to stun an enemy or something. Like you could blow in your harmonica and then hit an enemy because it stuns it, you know? You can like stun lock it with your harmonica. I think we'll start with this concept. Well, like if the pond has some creatures, they start coming out of the water and just start looking at you. I guess if you play music at like some specific bonfire, it might trigger some specific event. That could be a little fun gimmick. But yeah, so I think like the idea is that the reason it's multiplayer is just to make the world feel a bit more alive. You're not just in this insular, separate world, you know? So I think that's nice. And then you can play music together. Because, I mean, it's about camping and, you know. But then, like, yeah, around the bonfires, there's going to be sticks, you know. And we'll introduce the concept of sticks by having some sticks near the fire here that you can toss onto the fire. So, like, maybe there's, like, a pile of endless sticks here. You can just pick them up and throw it into the bonfire. So then you know that you can throw sticks onto bonfires. And then you get here, and the fire's, like, smoldering. And you have to, like, stoke it. Unless another player's already stoked it for you, in which case you don't have to. You can just play the music. So that's why it feels like it's a bit more alive. I think I like that concept. So let's go with that. What do you think about that, Aaron? Sound solid? Can you write slash Google slash KS4P is an idiot slash search at command port? I don't think I want to do that. Do you think having players pick their username before joining would be yeah, because I want it to be sort of, I don't know, have you played Journey? Or like this like Sky Children of Light or something? Another game by the same because there is it's very little separating the players from one another. Yeah, like in Journey, you basically, I mean, you have, it's an old, like 2012, yeah. Can you write KS4P is an absolute total and utter idiot? I already wrote that. Like you play as this fella, which is sort of like a no-name guy, and there's like this drop-in, drop-out style of multiplayer. So they have like persistent servers. And just automatically you're match made with some random person who you don't know who they are. They don't have a name. The only way you can communicate is by like drawing lines in the sand, which of course ultimately fade away with time. And you can like jump or whatever. So it's really cool. And I think we can achieve the same thing here, but instead of drawing lines in the sand, it's like, you know, you jump around, but you can also play music. Can you say where Ronaldo was born? On planet Stupid. Am I right, boys? Yep, I went there. You forgot you had large chowder? How? Which country? He was born in Stupidland. Idiotland. Absolute utter buffoonland. Where do you think he was born? I'll pass it over to you, viewer. Where do you think Ronaldo was born? Ads are Jover. But yeah, I think we got a solid concept for the gameplay. So just light combat, mostly just about exploration and vibes. I think this one, yeah, prefab world placer. Joe Mama. I'm sorry, I went too far there. Got a lighter scan, large chowder. Hell yeah. Wait, 1 second. Sorry. Okay, let's see here. So we have this rock fella here. I don't know, can we modify his... I guess rotation should be random. Rockhead? Rockhead isn't here. But this is a rockhead. Prefab world placer, my love. I just need to change the rock material. such a sad day because he's not here. 6'7" or 6'9". I'd rather die than pick a choice, than pick between those two. Okay? They're both absolutely brain busted numbers. No offense, of course. I had some stupid penguin shooter game made in August, but I'm too lazy to make that. You can join set lobbies since the networking package is a bit confusing if you aren't using Steamworks. You made a penguin shooter? We don't offend people here. It's a safe space for everyone. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. These days, it's too many channels that are so rude to their viewers. And I just feel like, hey, let's move past that and start being friends instead. For real, I feel like I'm with my abusive family in here. Oh, oops, read the script wrong. We love everyone in here. Yeah. You can show other players that explode and turn into a tombstone. There was some guy who made a like surprisingly competent lobby selection thing in Roblox. I searched Penguin Heist and it had like the full lobby heist planning stuff, but then you played a mission and it was just nothing. But like it had the, you know, the transitioning camera and stuff. A little bit shocking. We need to have a blend map color the I'm using Pernet for networking. Not sure how easy it would be to move over. Yeah, I don't think you should move over to Photon. I'm as much as I, as much as I use them, I wouldn't recommend people to. I don't know. I just feel like I'm held hostage. I'm a hostage of my own circumstance. But like I enjoy Fusion and I use it for my other projects. And again, like I said, networking for game objects would crash on me just randomly. The session just shuts off. But again, I mean, that's a Unity product, not the fault of any how do you say, other networking solution developer. Burnet was quite easy to set up, but I feel like Photon is just more reliable. It might be. I'm gonna use shared hosting for this game that I'm working on now, so that's a little bit of a transition. Cause like basically what most networking solutions focus on, as far as I understand, is host driven, right? So the host has authority over over objects. Wait, why is it not saving the client? No, it isn't. Oh, okay. But it's host driven, right? Whereas Fusion now are pivoting towards more shared, because I mean, the aim of shared is to support more, derogatory term, friend swap games. Make it easier to develop those, because they don't require like the rigorous networking that may be expected in like a host-oriented setting, which so many other networking solutions are doing extremely well. You can look at like Unreal, which is like state-of-the-art networking, and most of these open source solutions as well are focused on like host-oriented, whereas the shared is like you as a client have authority over your own local existence, which helps a lot with not having to do a bunch of client prediction, because it just happens automatically essentially. And like essentially, I mean, if you're making like a simple multiplayer type game, not making like Counter-Strike or whatever, you probably don't need a super rigorous networking library. You just need something that works. Don't ignore me, I feel alone. I am Cat, by the way, not a gay. Look at the picture. Casual games don't need prediction. That exactly, that's the thing. But when it comes to like making friend swap, right? You want the lowest amount of netcode required. You just want to get the game out. And doing a shared approach is in general a lot more favorable, I feel, at least from my experience having tried the two. Shared is a lot less cumbersome because you can be like, you as a client own this. You can spawn objects as you want, and as a host, you're also essentially a client. Everyone's a client. And then there's always the master client. But with the host mode, you have to be a bit more on top of things, do like permission handout and authority requests and authority handoffs, and it kind of gets a bit messy. KS4P is the kind of person that makes it not worth it to get up in the mornings and start streaming. I see you use Hot Reload. Yeah, I love Hot Reload. I use it here too. You think I can live without it? At this point, making multiplayer games, absolutely not. There is such a long startup for multiplayer, and I just love being able to edit stuff live in multiplayer, tweaking variables live, and especially like there are so many variables that you don't necessarily want to like expose. So it's very nice. Whatever drawbacks it might have, it comes with a million pluses, you know. And it's like sometimes you're fixing a bug, and you think you fixed it. You boot up the game, and you're like, ah, shit. I typed the line in the wrong place. I need to switch these two lines around. You pause the game. You switch the lines around. You wait for it to recompile. You boot up the game again. You start it up, and you're like, shit, that was not the actual issue. I have to add one more variable. And then you pause the game, change the line, add the variable, whatever, boot up the game again, but it has to recompile, and then you start up, and blah, 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 blah. Rinse, repeat. Hot reload. Brrr. See if it works. No, it didn't work. Brrr. See if it works. Okay, yeah, it works. There you go. Hey, S4P, are you Miles? Yeah, I feel like my assumption has always been like whatever shortcoming Hot Reload has is probably less of a shortcoming with Hot Reload and more of a shortcoming with Unity. In my opinion, Unity should buy out Hot Reload and have those guys on scene, because it is such an insane quality of life to have Hot Reload. Hey, S4P, I'm gonna have to time you out. You're deleting my brain cells. And I just don't need this right now. I'm gonna time you out for 1 minute. I don't know how Sandbox did it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, hot reload solves like 90% of my gripes with like reload times and recompilation and whatever. I don't know how... That's what the guy was saying with Godot. Like, if you're working in GD script, apparently super snappy, no recompilation, because, I mean, it's just script. But, of course, you're doing anything performance sensitive. That's a no-go, you know? Godot, I knew that worked once time. Hey, as for P, I don't think you know a single thing about game development whatsoever. Oh, Obdiraxman. Look, I asked Obdiraxman. He shows up here, calls me a junior coder. And I asked him to quiz me about anything. And his question, I said, like, quiz me on anything game related. And I assure you I'll be able to answer it. He said, his answer was, his question was, his question was, can you make a game in SQL? No, not in PHP. Sorry, in PHP. Can you make a game in PHP? That was his question. That was his way of quizzing me to see if I'm actually a junior coder or not. It was absolutely most insane, stupid question I've ever heard in my life. The guy is absolutely brain broken. But the thing is, he didn't ask me if, like, I could do it. He just asked me, like, is it possible? Or at least that's what I assume, unless he's, like, that idiotic and brain broken. But my assumption is that he was asking about whether it was, like, possible. But, I mean, a stupid question either way. Well, he didn't ask me about SQL, no. He asked me about PHP. But even so, I think, is SQL Turing complete at this point? Because it feels like they always add, like, extra utilities to these things. Okay, with extensions and features, it is Turing complete. So yes, you could. It's possible. Why would you? That's never a question you should ask yourself in computer games. The why would you? People just do. It's why people are having Doom running on anything, you know? You don't know what a sequel is? Oh my god. Does game devs even need no sequel? What are you talking about? I'm not Googling sequel. I'm Googling a sequel is Turing complete. Do you know what Turing complete means, Obdirax man? You probably have zero idea. My guy doesn't even know who Alan Turing is. What plugins do you use? I don't really use any plugins. Apparently for this project, I noticed I used naughty attributes, but I use microsplat, always microsplat, every day of the week. If you're working with terrain, microsplat, yes. If you're gonna do more photorealistic terrain, go microsplat in combination with microverse. That's what I'm doing for Penguin Springs. I like the terrain toolkit, which is a built-in Unity package. The terrain tools. Let's see what I have in project. Yeah, the fluffy grooming tool I quite like. It gives the fur, but I'm not using it in this project actually. But then yeah, I mean, you see it's quite light. I'm not really using that much. Do you use Neovim? I do right now. I use NG. That what the you are so absolutely brain broken, KS4P. Absolutely, entirely, insanely brain broken. NG Inks. Oh yeah. Do you use Neovim? Yeah, well, I use NG Inks. What makes Microsplat special? Basically, far more performant than Unity Terrain. Okay? Far more performant. Secondly, it has a bunch of add-ons that you can buy, additional add-ons. So like, you can get triplanar shading on your terrain. You can get procedural shading. You can get terrain blending, so it smoothly blends into the terrain like objects. You can have I think it's like what's it called, distance resampling, like resampling, so like reducing repetition in textures. You can have like lava streams, water streams. You can have an insane amount of textures. This supports up to 32 textures per terrain. 32 textures. I think Unity has up to 16. How many textures on Unity terrain? Up to 12 textures. 12 textures in the native terrain, apparently. Or is there no limit? Wait. Is that's the old terrain? That's like 9 years ago. Terrain textures per pass. Okay, so it has unlimited passes, I guess. Yeah, it's unlimited passes. I think that's the thing with this one, is it reduces the amount of passes to be essentially micro splat passes. I think it does the entire texturing in a single pass. I think that's the big difference. So, so that's one key. But then it also does like, it's called height blending. So Unity does linear blending, which like does this smooth transition from A to B between like terrain textures, right? And you'll notice how that looks freaking weird as shit for like paths, because generally, like, if you look at a dirt path or something, there's not a smooth transition here. It's usually either it's dirt or it's grass, or it's like dirt and grass interspersed. But you won't see like dirt and grass like overlaying each other. So usually it's like a winner takes everything. And that's the sort of sampling that Microsplat employs, which looks a lot better. Looks a lot better. And you can have like way more dramatic color shifts. Now I've changed the shader in Microsplat to do like an even more aggressive winner takes all, as you see here. But it's still a winner takes all nonetheless. So that I think looks better. And then you can have like this, it has like, yeah, built-in instance rendering, but I think it might be on par with Unity's instance rendering, but it is this like built-in, like you have snow, parallax tessellation, cracks, low poly terrain built in, terrain holes, I forget exactly what the key for those are, terrain texture decals, which is very nice. Digger, you can have like like you can actually dig into the terrain, like that dig a hole game, like voxel style. Global texturing, which is sort of like you can do these like you see like mesa sort of structures, which is kind of cool. Scatter is, I guess, sort of detail. Mesh terrains is also pretty cool, so I think you can import a mesh to start with and then get like a height map from that you can then modify. I'm not making the map in Blender, I'm doing this in Unity. Are those Microsplat plugins? Yeah, they are. They're all plugins that you can just add into onto Microsplat. But yeah, basically, as soon as I start opening up a project with a terrain, I just go Microsplat instantly. KS4P is nice guy now, yeah? No. I can't even say bad things because of filters. I say a lot. Well, thank God for the filters, man. Thank God. Is it AI filter, bruh? I tried a lot of changes for bad words. It's not AI filter. It's literally, if you knew anything about coding at all, you'd realize that implementing like filters is quite easy. Hello Kids TV, Vampire Edits. It's actually my own custom game that I'm making for a game jam. I think it's Service Triplanar. What are you even talking about? We're gonna have to time you out again. Timing you out, KS4P. For being absolutely and utterly stupid. Oh my god. And then here we have like a big ass forest. But we need to have trees a bit everywhere, I think. But we could use these stone circles at the camping spots. We could have one of these. We could have them be like close to the bonfires. I think that's a cool idea. So you have to light the bonfire and play a tune. But then we'll change the fog. I think we enable the fog. We can probably, I think the fog is just the Unity fog. I think I'm using that. Because I know I had to override it to get the outlines working correctly and stuff. Not 20. Let's do 18 and then end at 20. Or maybe 17, 16, and at 18. Like, why can't they do radial fog? I want that. It's always the, like, camera point of view, like, distance. But the thing is, it just looks so awkward when you look, like, up and down, because the distances change, of course. I guess it's not as performant, but... But maybe the fog needs to come closer than to the player. So rendering, lighting, and we can bring it, instead of starting at 16, start maybe like... That's a bit more atmospheric. Yeah, see ya, see ya. Okay, sweet. But then we'll just put the embers and we'll change these embers to be spawned at the bonfire. Okay, so let's try to do this painting, and then we'll add the tree. Spruce tree. Like some issue with the spruce tree, or how do you do your texturing? Generally, I will not shy away from using many materials because of the way that since the advent of the URP, Universal Render Pipeline, Unity has sort of stopped caring about material count. So now it's really more about texture count. But basically, if you keep your texture count low, you can go bananas with the amount of materials you're using. And so I'll just, in Blender, you know, if I have this fella here, just mark what I want to be a specific material. So let's say I've marked these leaves here, and then just add new material and unwrap in whatever fashion fits. Generally cube projection, but you know, sometimes this tree might be a cylinder, so you'll do cylinder projection. And it's no more difficult than that. But one thing you do want to pay attention to, and this is something that I struggle a bit with, is just don't try to stay away from transparent materials as much as you can. Like even alpha clipping, you know. Because The reason I didn't was because that fish had this workflow where when he made grass, he'd pull a grass texture, apply that grass texture to a quad, and then just draw that as foliage, right? But the way that GPUs behave, it's actually sometimes more beneficial to do a higher poly. So like this one, for example, these lupines here, these are quads with lupine textures on them, but it might have actually been more beneficial to draw them not as textures on quads, but just make the actual geometry using vertices. So have the flowers be vertices and then draw them without transparency. So that's a little trick, optimization trick that I think probably a good idea to keep in mind. So like with grass, just have the grass not be a texture, but have it be just triangles, literally just triangle straws that stick up the ground. Then you get zero transparency. So you don't have to deal with a bunch of transparency issues. I don't know why it doesn't want to draw there. That's kind of weird, but... what's this palette thing you got? Oh, that's Prefab World Placer. That's also one. It's free. As far as I remember. Prefab World Placer. World Builder, sorry. Actually, it might not be free. I guess it's not. Yeah, $60, but it's 50% off. So, you know. You can draw along the lines. You can do like these freaking spline things. You can do pins, extrudes, all kinds of crazy stuff. Gravity placement is pretty cool. That's the one gimmick that I like to use. So gravity placement will drop the object using a gravity simulation and then freeze it. So if you want to simulate somewhere where there's been like a landslide, you can just drop a bunch of rocks at the start, set the simulation to run for 10 seconds, it runs, and then... yeah. So if I want to have like a landslide here, I could like set rocks to drop down here, and I don't have to go in there and manually do like a rotation that looks realistic. You can hand off some of that stuff to a simulation, just like you do in like Blender or something. But oh yeah, these terrain tools for sure. Specific, the one I use the most is the bridge tool. Do you see how I made this? Like, you can just mark a top point, mark a low point, and then it just connects them. Let's do. But yeah, so I can mark up here. I say make a slope all the way down there, because that's like the biggest nightmare to do without these tools. So absolute godsend, the terrain tools. And they're just built in, so. Yeah, I wonder, I could probably, because I could probably get away with drawing these trees at a way shorter distance. I don't know if I need to use the LOD system for that, or... Wait, WebGL and GPU instance. Right, okay. Okay, let's walk around a little bit and just catch a vibe. Oops. I feel like it could be darker. But maybe that's something I can solve with like post-processing. See, this looks more like nighttime to me. And then, like, as you walk down the path, you get faced with your first choice. Do I go here or there? But see, the thing is, we need to have some challenge along the way. Because the player could potentially just run away. Or maybe there's some reason to kill monsters in the woods. Could there be a reason? Oh, right. I was going to check if you can go into the church. I don't know if it's going to work. If it works, that's awesome. Because I was thinking we could incorporate the church into... Wonder if I should make the trees a bit darker. Yeah, I think that's nicer. Because then we can have a bit more dramatic light around the player itself. So you have like the player controller here, and then you can do this and light, point light. If we put the player on a separate rendering layer, we could fix that, I guess. Layer. You know, you could do something like this. Got a little glow around him, you know? But let's see if we can go in. So far, so good. Maybe I should just not do the WebGL stuff. Maybe I should just have these as standalone builds. Even though I could try WebGL and see, but I think standalone build might be better. I don't know, man. I'll start standalone build and then we'll see if I could give it. But this looks really good. I like this. This is where the concert will be held? Exactly. I like the little glow around the player because I feel like it emphasizes the darkness of the forest. Isn't WebG... It is a thing. But it's also like... I think that the problem with WebGL is that random things just don't work. So like the residence GPU instance render does not work, for example, which would help massively with drawing all these trees. But then we add some monsters in these woods that you can whack with a stick. We add the harmonica. We add like the ember collection tracking. And then that's sort of it. We need to add some NPCs with lore as well. So... experimental. Yeah, the problem is you might not have it working in all browsers, and then it's sort of like, well, what was the point of that? Stick weapons, enemies. Maybe there should be... No, I think spiders is better. I was going to say maybe we should have trolls to go into the folklore. But I think the folklore could be... Like, the way we tie into the folklore is by the people or the creatures you meet at the bonfires telling their respective stories. That's the folklore. I think that fits the theme. So, like, you speak to this guy, he'll tell you about the creatures of the woods. But then I was thinking, yeah, so part of the puzzle is going to be finding these spots here. Where you stand on these, there's like a contextual play music. And if you play music on this one, you can press like E to interact, and he's going to pull up the harmonica to start playing. But then this dude might say, hey, you can't play there. Did you gather the embers yet? Because this is the final, like, you return here when you're done to play. I think that makes sense. How do we like that gameplay loop? Start here, and the goal is to gather the 3 embers so you can play out the night or something. I like the little jump particles. I love the Oblivion sound effect in the background, dude. Thanks you. Thanks, Aaron. Stick weapons, enemies, spiders, and something else. Creatures of the night. And night creatures. And then embers, harmonica, scary deers. Well, I was thinking about like deer and stuff, but the reason I like spiders because they're easy to animate, you know? It's like they just move their crawly legs and that's it. It's hard to model a nice looking deer, I think, or at least to make it look nice. I don't know. But maybe it's worth it. If I have the time, I'll put that as an aside, maybe. We'll start with the spiders and we'll see if we have time for more because we're on a tight deadline. But stick weapons, enemies, embers, harmonica. And I guess dialogue or camps. Ending. Hats, question mark. We'll see if we can do hats. Hopefully we can. Yeah, we'll just adjust the color on these trees. The birch trees. See, because that's the way that I did the color in Puffin Game, was I actually tried to use more of the textures themselves and have an almost like unlit approach to them. Because that gave me so much more control over like the style. Instead of having to rely and hope to God that like the lighting of the sun is going to be perfect, I do like so much more custom. And I feel like it really pays off here because I can instantly get like the right kind of style for this game by just shifting the colors around. Like, you turn on the fog. That looks pretty good. We could probably go darker green with the birch, honestly. Like the foliage. And all this graphics is with custom. Yeah, so I have this base shader I use for all, like, these. The trees and all the objects. It's called the surface shader. You'll see that the way I have done the surface shader is it's basically basic, you know, texture sampling. But then I think I had custom nodes in here. Right, so I used the skybox color, right? So I fetch skybox color data. And that way I don't have to rely so much on like the real-time lighting. I just use the color of the skybox to judge like what color should we have on the object itself. And then I do see, yeah, that's dithering for windows. I also use the same surface shader. I think I do, yeah, calculate lighting. That's my custom node for doing like color banding for like the shading, so it's more toon shaded. I'll be streaming more of this tomorrow, hopefully, yeah. But definitely, like, I'm not a shader master, but you see here, there's this banding of the color, super nice, very, very nice. Same here, and there's like banding on the actual character itself. Appreciate it, dude. Appreciate it. You got a new job? Interesting. Well, I'm gonna take I don't know, maybe I'll end the stream here actually. I think I'll just end the stream. It's been fun. It's been a good day. And I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm gonna keep working on this, but I'm just gonna take a walk. Clear my head. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in today, and see you all tomorrow. Bye. Bye-bye.